Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. Double watching it today. Feels kind of weird. This is the first time I've ever done this on video. Let's talk about the two most surprising things I've realized about the Sea-Dweller in my couple weeks of ownership, all right? And there are many different aspects of this watch and my other Rolex watches, and I can talk about those nuances in another video, but these are two of the most mind-blowing things that I've realized. And one might be kind of surprising for you, perhaps the other not so surprising. Let's start with that one, and that's the lack of a Cyclops, a lack of a date magnifier. Now, if you're not a watch person or you're not a dedicated Rolex person, that might not seem like a big deal, but if you're used to the Submariner, the GMT, the Explorer 2, then you're used to the Cyclops. And I like the Cyclops. It's a very Rolex element, and I love it on my Tudor Hydronauts because of that Rolex connection. But it has been surprisingly mind-blowing to have a Rolex with a date, yet no Cyclops. And it's got a clean feel. It's easy to clean the glass with your shirt. You don't have to do the move where you stick your fingernail in your shirt and sort of clean around the Cyclops. And it's really neat to look down and see that date naked without the Cyclops. It feels pretty mind-blowing, and a lot of people wouldn't get it. The best I could do is help you with an analogy having to do with some pudding. So you got chocolate pudding, you got vanilla pudding. I mean, a couple flavors, not that big of a deal between the two, but if you eat chocolate pudding every day for dessert for the next year, on day 366, if I set some vanilla pudding in front of you, it's gonna blow your mind, all right? And that's what this has felt like. Also, it's made me realize that I think it was a huge mistake for Rolex to put the Cyclops onto the Sea-Dweller. You know, the current 43 millimeter Sea-Dweller has the Cyclops, and back when it was 40 millimeters, it never did. That was special, and they've taken that away. And now, if you're looking at professional Rolex watches, there's not a single one in the catalog with the date yet without the Cyclops. What a mistake to take that away. That was a defining feature of the Sea-Dweller, and it's gone. So that was a massive fail by Rolex. And will they take that away in the future? They should. But anyway, that's also been an impression. All right, the second thing is how much this watch reminds me of the pre-ceramic no-date sub. And it's not because of anything having to do with the date or the Cyclops, it's the size of the dial. And one thing that I love about the 14060 or 14060M is that the minute hand reaches closer to the minute marks. It's that much closer to perfection versus the date version that has a bigger dial, and you can see it right here. The minute hand doesn't reach as close to the minute marks, all right? It's very subtle. Nobody would probably notice it, but it's there. And this is like the no-date sub in the sense that the minute hand reaches closer to the minute marks. It's like the no-date pre-ceramic subs and this have a more compact dial, whereas the 16610 has a wider dial. They're all 40 millimeter watches, but it's all about that dial. And I think it's because the 16610 has to accommodate the Cyclops. I don't think it has anything to do with the movement or having to make the movement bigger because of the date function, because this has a date function, but it still has that more compact dial. So that's been huge as well for me. Again, these things are not big to many people. Many people wouldn't even notice them, but for me, these have been the two most mind-blowing things. And I'll just give you one more, and that's of course the size. You know, when I was looking at it on my wrist in the mirror, it felt like a no-date sub, but a no-date sub that's been doing push-ups every day for the past couple years. You know, kind of a little bit muscular, a little big in the pectoral region, some biceps. It just looked a little big, and I kind of appreciated the masculinity of it. And I can't help but think about my video talking about the James Cameron and the the new Omega Ultra Deep, and a lot of viewers said we like that. We like the bigness and punchiness of that watch, and I get that, right? Because this has a little bit more masculine punch than the No Date Sub, but it's a thicker watch. And I haven't really noticed it coming from this watch because this Vostok is pretty thick and this feels about the same size. So if you're coming from this and going to this, you're not really going to notice the thickness. If you're coming from a relatively thin No Date Sub, then this is going to feel a little bit thicker. So it's all about the watch that has primed you before jumping into this. So anyway, my impressions of this watch, there you go. I'll get into the nuances probably when it gets back from the overhaul and I wear it a little bit more. But there you go. Let me know what you think about any of these. Are these mind-blowing things? I guess it depends on if you're pretty deep into the Rolex Kool-Aid, right? Let me know what you think. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.